At the end of this session, I would like to show some, the application of the decision science tool. So it's about, I'll just give you a demo about the tool at the end of the session. So next we'll see uh, an example where the decision science support system is used. You can see in the Hong Kong airport, uh, it's an international terminal actually, Hong Kong International Terminal. Here, what's an application of the decision support system is used to optimize the operational decisions there. How this happened with the help of the decision support system. So here, one of the busiest container terminal in the world is the Hong Kong International Terminal, and it has a 122 yacht cranes serve 125 ships per week. So it's a very big international terminal, Hong Kong International Terminal, and you see thousands of trucks move containers in and out of the storage yard. And this they faced many problems in uploading and deloading the containers from the ship. So they used a decision support system to optimize the operational decisions involving the trucks, cranes, and the storage locations. So after applying this decision support system, these are some of the benefits that the Hong Kong International Terminal has achieved. So they achieved the 35% reduction in the container handling cost. So it's nothing but the decision support system. It's nothing but the usage of the past data. So how effectively they use the data which has already in the database. They use the data in order to minimize the reduction cost and handling cost. Sorry. So 50 percentage increase in the throughput and 30 percentage improved in the vessel turnaround time. So this or the benefits they have achieved that international airport terminal has achieved by adopting this decision support system. So this is normally this decision support system. It's one of the application of the decision science. So out of this, they make use of the data and finally achieve the optimization here. So most of the airline industry they use the decision support system. So next we'll move on to the yes, of course, the buzzwords, right? This we have discussed at the beginning of our lecture. These are some of the buzzwords: business analytics, okay, data analytics, data science, business intelligence, and big data. So these are some of the buzzwords and data decision science. Finally, all these analytics put together, they convert the data into a data formats. Okay, so from that, the decision makers they dig the information what they need. So this is about all these are interrelated. All this business data analytics, business intelligence. I told you at the end of this session, I'll be showing the uh, application of this decision science tool, right? So business intelligence tool that I'll be showing a demo. It's nothing but the Tableau. Tableau, hope you all have heard about this application of Tableau. So I'll be showing a demo on that. So it's one of a business intelligence tool. So the people, the decision makers or the managers, what they do is they just uh, to convert the data into a meaningful application or a presentable application. So it's a business intelligence tool that we'll be discussing, and you all know what big data is, the application of big data, right? So these are all the buzzwords now, and you can see the world is full of all this. You can heard about all this trend analysis, um, data, quantitative statistical analysis, predictive analysis, okay, visualization techniques, and a simulation, Then what else? Like models. Models. It's now it's very the buzzword model building, so regression learning, artificial intelligence, all this it's based on the uh, predictive analytics. Okay. And the Bayesian analysis, linear model, all this, you can see these are the combination of all these things, right? And next, we'll see what is data modeling. So data modeling, it comprises of all the analytics. This data modeling, it consists of, it's based on the descriptive analytics. It's based on the diagnostic analysis, and it's based on the predictive analytics and the prescriptive analytics. So let us see what does it mean. What is a descriptive analytics, diagnostic, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics? So these categories, what are these categories, and are they all related? Yes. In short, we can say they are all forms of data analytics, but each use the data to answer different questions. So finally, this data modeling or data science, it takes the uh, data to answer different questions. So first, let us take the what is descriptive analytics says. So descriptive analytics is nothing but tells you what happened in the past. So what happened in the past and what's happening right now. That's what the descriptive analytics says. It looks at data statistically to tell you what happened in the past, and it helps a business understand how it is performing by providing context to help the stakeholders interpret the information. So this can be in the form of data visualization, like graphs, charts, reports, and dashboards. So we all have done the descriptive analysis, might be in our PhD, right? So there is always a difference between the analysis and analytics. So here, the descriptive analytics always it helps a business to understand how it is performing, and it is in the form of data visualization. So this business intelligence tool, which I'm going to give a demo, is about the data visualization. So the most effective and simple tool here, what we would have used in our PhD and other projects, is the Excel tools, like we draw graphs, charts, and reports in Excel by the help of Excel. But data visualization can be done with the advanced, most recent tool or software, we can say, this Tableau software, and where we can develop a dashboard so that it can be easily presentable to the your stakeholders. So how can this descriptive analytics helps in the real world? Suppose for in a healthcare setting, for instance, for say that unusually high number of people are admitted to the emergency room in a short period of time. Okay, so descriptive analytics tells you that this is happening and provides real-time data with all the corresponding statistics, the date of occurrence, volume, and the patient details, etc. Okay, so this is an example. So what is actually happening? Just representing the same what is actually happening. It's called the descriptive analytics. Next, we'll move on to the uh, diagnostic analytics. So diagnostic analytics is again what's happening. It helps you understand why something has happened in the past. Okay, so descriptive analysis tells you what happened in the past, and diagnostic analytics helps you to understand why something has happened in the past. Okay, it's only mining through the data and looking for interesting patterns and correlation, why it has happened. Okay, that's about the diagnostic analysis. And it takes the descriptive data a step further and provides deeper analysis to answer the questions, and it means that why this happened. So often this diagnostic analysis is referred to a root cause analysis. We can say this is a root cause. Okay, and it includes using process such as data discovery, data mining, drill down or drill through. So again, In the healthcare example mentioned earlier, the diagnostic analysis would explore the data and make correlations. Like, for instance, it may help you determine that all the patient's symptoms, high fever, dry cough, and fatigue, point to the same infectious agent. So this is how why it has happened. So they in the previous one, in the descriptive, it says why it has happened, and sorry, what has happened in the past, and in the diagnostic analytics it says that why it has happened. Okay, so next we'll move on to the uh, predictive analytics. This is a very, very important one, which we always do with the data modeling. So here what they do is what is likely to happen and why in the future. So predictive analytics is, it takes the historical data and feeds into the machine learning model that considers key trends and patterns. So it predicts what is most likely to happen in the future and why. So you can see the application of predictive analytics. It's used in business, banking and finance, retail, telecommunications, credit scoring, all decision science. We have already seen some all the industries where it is applicable. It is the predictive analytics is also applicable to all the industries. So again, when we talk about the same example, that hospital example, predictive analytics may forecast a surge in patients admitted in the hospital in the next several weeks. So based on the patterns in the data, the illness is spreading at a rapid rate. Okay. So this keeps on admitting the patients in that particular hospital. And based on the past data, they predict the future, how many patients will be admitted in the next few weeks or next few months. And this next we'll move on to the prescriptive analysis. So prescriptive analysis is again we talk about the or it recommends that what action that we have to take to affect those outcomes, what we should do, actions we should be taking. So that's the prescription that we give. So we predict. First, we study what is happening, okay, and diagnostic it's nothing but why it has happened. And predictive is nothing but what will happen in the future. And prescriptive, we recommend the action that what we have to take to affect those outcomes. Okay, this is called prescriptive analytics. So it again, this prescriptive analytics takes the predictive data to the next level, right? So that you have an idea of what will happen in the future, what you should do for that. You suggest some various courses of actions and outlines what the potential implications would be for each. Again, back to our hospital example, now that if you know the line illness is spreading, right? And the prescriptive analytical tool may suggest you increase the number of staff on hand to adequately treat the influx of patients. It's the scenario now, it's happening, right? So this COVID situation, you can just correlate the hospital example. The people are being admitted. Why? What is the reason behind it? And the prediction, how much in the next few days they also predict it. And what is the outcome? What is the prescription that we have to take? What is the action that we have to take for based on the outcome? So it takes the the predictive data to the next level. Okay. So as a whole, that we can say both descriptive analytics and the diagnostic analytics look to the past to explain what happened and why it has happened, right? And predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics use historical data to forecast what will happen in the future and what actions you can take to affect those outcomes. So hope you understood this difference between the first two, descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics, and the second two, predictive analytics and the prescriptive analytics. So the forward-thinking organization use a variety of analytics together to make smart decisions that helps their business, or in the case of the situations, like the COVID situations as what we are facing now. Okay, so all these are based, all the decisions what the government nowadays is taking is only on this predictive analysis. So all these types of four analysis, all the four. Okay. Next, we'll move on to the, yes, you can see again this model category. This is nothing but the uh, decision models: prescriptive model, predictive model, descriptive, and diagnostic is also there. So you can see these are some of the techniques we use in the mm, each models. Prescriptive models, these are some of the techniques. LP, it's something with the linear programming technique, and CPM, okay, EOQ, economic order quantity, critical path method, and network diagram. So all these some of the techniques that we use to, I mean, in the prescriptive model. It's the last model that we have seen, prescriptive model. That is, we prescribe something for the outcomes. Okay. So here, this is the independent variable known or unknown decision makers controls. It's under the decision makers control, this prescription. So it's known and well defined. It's a form of a function. And prediction, you see, all you might have heard about this: regression analysis, time series analysis, discriminant analysis. Okay, all these are the predictive analytics techniques. Predictive analysis, regression. So we all know, we would have done this regression analysis in our reports, right? In our PhD reports also, we would have done this. And time series analysis, this time series is always being done in the financial area, like, in the stock markets, they go for the time series analysis, okay, and discriminant analysis in the marketing area. So these are some of the techniques that we use to uh, predict a model, okay. Uh, so this is also under the decision makers control. And descriptive simulation, PERT, you know about the PERT model, program evaluation review technique, queuing and inventory models. So these are the statistical methods where we apply to construct the models: prescriptive model, predictive model, descriptive model. Okay. So you all know what is the descriptive model. So here it is unknown or uncertain, and this is an independent variables here. So we don't want to discuss much on this technically. Only we'd like to know what are the techniques that we use for constructing these models: prescriptive, predictive, and descriptive models. Okay. So these are some of the examples you can see. If you take descriptive analytics, how many vehicles are in the world today? Description, what's actually happening, and how many patients have communicable diseases when they discovered that. Okay, so what's actually happening in the market. And diagnostic, why we have 1.2 billion vehicles in the world? Why? What is the reason? So this is how many vehicles at present, and why we have that vehicles. Is it related to country's population and prosperity? We answer for this question. And why they have communicable diseases. The second example you can see, we can correlate these questions, right? Why they have communicable diseases? Is there any correlation between the demographics of patients and their diseases? So this is your, the mm, uh, you can correlate all these questions. Examples for the second one. And you can see, if you take the predictive analytics, this is, and how many expected vehicles in the next 5 years. So based on the past data, you just foresee how many vehicles will be there in the next 5 years or 10 years. You predict it, okay, by using the techniques that what we have seen. Predictive analytics, we have some regression technique, time series, discriminant analysis. By using those techniques, we just predict it. And in this example, if you take how many patients may have the same disease in the city, okay, in the future, and what are the choices to prevent it comes in the prescriptive. Okay, so this is the example for the predictive analytics. Next, you go for the Prescriptive. Okay, prescriptive analytics, how we can decrease the number of, that is a prescription, right? Based on the outcome of the predictive analytics, we just prescribe how we can decrease the number of vehicles, because it causes pollution. So how we can decrease the number of vehicles. And if you take the second example, what are the choices to prevent others to be infected? That's a case that what we are facing now, right? What are the choices? So this is about the uh, four major analytics that were what we use in the decision science. Okay, and we build a model. We build a model by using the various statistical tools, by the regression analysis, as we said. So we build a model, we feed the data into the model, and finally we arrive at a decision. So this is one of the other analytics, cognition analytics. And what's the best action to decrease the number of vehicles globally without increasing the production ratio? Okay, without decreasing the production ratio, what is the best action to decrease the number of vehicles? It's a cognitive decision. It's a so without the production rate should not go down, but at the same time you have to decrease the number of vehicles. So the alternate decision you have to take, you should invest in electric cars, which overcomes the pollution, right? Overcome the pollution issue in the big cities. There are millions of people interested in and taking about the electrical cars. They are talking about the electrical cars. And if you take the second example, you should give the patient this medication and isolate them in this area, right? You should not give them this medication because it may have a negative effect after 10 years, due to some studies have been made in these two cities, that particular two articles here. And after examining these patients, the patient's number XYZ are working in the same company which located in the same infectious area. This is the main reason for their infection that we have found it, and we found some co-workers who have this disease also. So something cognitive, a strategic decision has to be made based on the analysis. So this is about the four major, first four is a major analytics, where we build a model and finally we make an effective decisions.